Okay. Taxi.
Taxi.
Taxi. Bus.
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 Trolley.
Trolley.
Trolley. Motorcycle.
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 Automobile.
Automobile.
What's another name for an automobile? Car. Right, very good. Yeah, a car. An automobile, a car. Taxi.
Taxi.
Plenty of taxis in Bangkok.
Yes, we
You
have.
get in, you tell the driver where you want to go. The meter is turned on and tick, 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 tick. Depending on how far you go, is how much you have to pay. The taxi fare, F-A-R-E, taxi fare.
How much?
How much is the ride? What is the fare?
Fare.
A bus.
Bus.
Bus is right here on Charing Cross Road.
Yes.
Bus, a vehicle carrying a number of people for a fare, a bus fare.
But
And off you go, wherever you want to go. The trolley, again, like a tram, the trolley car.
trolley.
What is a motorcycle?
Motorbike.
A motorbike, right, there are more than a few in Bangkok. And of course, an automobile or a car. So you have a taxi, these are the things, and in the city, make up a lot of what you'll see on the road. Automobiles, motorcycles, trolleys, buses, and taxis, all the way through. Most people living in Bangkok would be familiar with motorcycles, taxis for sure, buses, maybe, I don't think trolleys, but automobiles for sure.
Trolley, many years ago we had.
Trolleys?
Yes.
Trolley cars? Yeah, I'm sure
We
they
had
did.
in Bangkok, but now we cancel.
Yeah,
Very old school gallery.
yeah, in a lot of the major cities in the United States, the trolley has more or less disappeared, replaced by buses, things of that nature. But the trolley car with the wiring and the tracks and all that has just kind of faded away to eliminate the tracks and the wiring and just use the bus. Okay, and the fare is the amount of money due to use the bus or the taxi or the trolley. Okay, ship,
Ship.
ship,
Ship.
boat, boat, fleet,
Free.
fleet, yacht,
Yeah.
yacht,
Yeah.
canoe, Canoe. What is a canoe?
Boat or canoe.
So it is a small boat,
River.
one person only, usually used in the lakes.
What river?
Right. It's a very narrow, small
Yes, sir.
boat. Something maybe like this.
It's like banana.
What do you call this?
Paddle.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right.
Boat.
Yes, sir, I forgot.
Boat.
Mind forgot.
Well, a canoe, but how do you move the canoe?
Boat.
How do you move the canoe?
It is made of wood. Yes, sir, I forgot its name. It was in my mind. I forgot its name.
Well, a paddle with one, oar, or an oar.
Or yes, sir.
Little
Yes,
oar,
sir.
little paddle where
Oarsman, yes, sir. Oarsman.
paddling across the river. If you had a canoe here on the riverside and you wanted to cross the river in the canoe, you would take out the oars for the canoe and start to paddle across the river.
Not one handle.
What is a yacht?
Yeah. Luxurious boat. Expensive boat.
A
Very expensive.
very expensive,
Expensive and luxurious.
yeah, a yacht could be a rather large,
Yes, sir.
you know, maybe private boat of some sort. And people would go sailing about in a yacht, usually a private boat.
Private.
And it's much larger than a canoe. It's a very large boat. Describe it as a boat. A yacht. There was a yacht race. Every year they hold yacht races off the coast of California in America. The yachts go out and race. What is a fleet?
Group of ships. Group of ships.
Yeah, a group, a number of ships, usually a sizable number forming a fleet. You would have the naval fleet, maybe 30 or 40 ships, all sailing together, in charge, one person in charge of the whole fleet. The admiral, let's say, in charge of the fleet. And they would be sailing in different directions, one place or another, a fleet. You could have a fleet of taxis.
Yes,
A
sir.
fleet, many taxis. A fleet of ships. Usually it's a fleet of ships. The Navy fleet will arrive at the harbor this afternoon. So maybe at 3 o'clock, 25 ships will appear on the shoreline, on the coastline, out there on the horizon. Canoe, yacht, fleet, boat. A boat can be a fleet can have many boats. A yacht is a boat, and a canoe is a boat. It floats on the water and can transport
Yes, sir.
equipment, people, whatever, around. And a ship is a large
Very
boat.
big boat. Yes, sir.
A large,
Carrying a lot of people and cargo ships. There are cargo ships also.
a cargo ship can carry, let's say, all kinds of electronic equipment from one port city across the ocean to another port city. All types of equipment being transported on a cargo ship. A ship. Ship, boat, fleet, yacht, canoe. Canoe. Canoe.
Can you?
Any questions about them? Paddle or?
or paddle or
Okay. Yacht.
In Thailand we don't say yacht, but we say yacht. I don't know why.
You say what?
In Thailand we say
Yo what?
Yeah. We say in our own way. We
Right.
copy the word, but we have my own way.
How do you say it again?
Yeah, a yacht. So
Yacht?
yacht. We say a yacht.
Yacht.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. We copy the word, but we have our own way to pronounce.
So it is English. It is English. Thai plus English equals
Right,
English.
yeah. That's Thai English.
Yeah, Thai.
Yacht.
Yacht. Yeah.
Okay. Cruise.
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 Crew.
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 Cabin.
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 Sailboat.
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 Submarine.
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 What is a submarine?
Sir, this is normally it is used by the Navy under the water. Yes, sir.
Right. Sub.
Subs under.
Yeah, a sub, or sometimes they just refer to as subs. There's a sub in the river or in the ocean. A sub, a submarine, a boat that maneuvers underwater. It can maneuver on the surface just as well, but it also can maneuver underwater. Submarine,
Submarine.
the yellow submarine.
Beautiful.
Right, the who?
The beautiful.
Beatles. 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 Yellow Submarine, the famous song. Sailboat.
Sailboat.
What is a sailboat?
A boat with the sails.
Hey, right. A boat with a sail. Very good. Or a sail with a boat.
It moves because the air.
Huh?
It is filled by air, and after that it
Yeah,
will move.
it's pushed,
Yes.
and for many years, the ships that sailed the sea had large sails, and they were pushed by the wind, not by motors. This is before motors existed. So the boats, the ships were sailing ships. They sailed, and mainly was pushed by the wind around the ocean before motors. So, a cabin, what is the cabin?
The room for captain. The room for captain.
Room for the captain?
Yes.
No, sir.
Well, right, but then again, it's more than just the captain.
So a small.
You can have a ship with 50 cabins, or 100 cabins,
No.
or 200 cabins. It could be a cruise ship. A ship that is maybe going out for 2 weeks to visit famous ports in, let's say, Asia, stopping in Hong Kong, stopping in Manila, stopping in Singapore, stopping in Kuala Lumpur, and other ports on a 2-week cruise of Southeast Asia. And the people on the ship would have cabins assigned. The 2 people, your husband and wife, you're on the cruise, you're taking the tour, and you have a cabin. Self-contained room with maybe a shower, restroom, bedroom area, and maybe couple other little things. And your cabin, in your cabin. So the ship could have many cabins. The captain, of course, would have a cabin as well, the captain's cabin. There'll be a meeting in the captain's cabin for the ship's officers at 2 o'clock. The crew.
The staff of the
Yeah,
staff
the
of
people
ship, the staff of the
operating-
plane, yes, crew.
The ship. You could have, depending on the size of the ship, you could have a very, very sizable crew. Several hundred maybe, depending on the size of the ship. And a crew, the crew.
You can say sailor.
Right, sailors. Sailors make up the crew. The crew could be 200 sailors. Very large ship, maybe. Some of the battleships of World War II, for example, hundreds and hundreds of sailors doing all different kinds of jobs that formed the crew of the ship. And a cruise usually implies a trip over the water for a period of time. We will take a 2-week cruise. We will take a 30-day cruise. We'll go around different ports, different famous cities, locations, and when we stop at the port, anyone that would like to disembark, what is disembark? Disembark. Well, you're on the ship comes into the port, there will be a tour of the city of San Francisco for all passengers interested in taking the tour. The tour buses will arrive at 3 o'clock. All passengers interested in taking the tour will disembark at 2:30. Disembark. Get off the ship to take the tour. Disembark. All passengers wishing to take the tour will disembark. Disembark at 2:30. Off the ship.
Disembark.
Disembark. Disembark. One word. Disembark. So, you would disembark the cruise ship, get on the buses, and take the tour. And when you return to the ship, you would then, once again, embark or disembark? Embark. Right. The dis is the what? Getting off. Embarking is going back up. So you'd be disembarked to go, and then when you return, embark. Cruise, cabin, sailboat, submarine. And when a submarine rises to the top, it is surfacing. Surface. It goes from below to the top and then is sitting right here. A submarine has just surfaced in the harbor. Surface. Top, the surface. Submarine, sailboat, cabin, crew, cruise. Even an airplane has a cruising altitude. So at a certain height, we have reached our cruising altitude, our height, our cruising height. We will then proceed along across the ocean at this height, our cruising altitude. Okay, we'll try some sentences with the words disembark.
Disembark. Disembark. Bark. For the dog.
Like a dog?
Yeah.
Disembark.
So, passenger, bark.
Thank you.
Okay, here we go. We'll try the words here and see how we do with pronunciation, meaning, and understanding. When I lived in Hong Kong, I often took the subway when traveling around the city. It was a very convenient way to move through the town. I also took a tram when I was not in a hurry and had a short trip to make. The tramway ran right past my office in Central. Okay, so
When I live in Hong Kong, I often took the subway when traveling around the city. It was a very convenient way to move through the town. I also took a tram when I was not in a hurry and had a short trip to make. The tramway ran right past my office in Central.
In Central, right, very good. When I lived in Hong Kong, I often took the subway when traveling around the city. It was a very convenient way to move through the town. I also took a tram when I was not in a hurry and had a short trip to make. The tramway ran right past my office in Central. Okay.
When I lived in Hong Kong, I often took the subway when traveling around the city. It was a very convenient way to move across the town. I also took a tram when I was not in a hurry and had a short trip to make. The tramway ran right past my office in Central.
Right, very good. The tramway ran right past my office in Central. Ran right past my office in Central. When I lived in Hong Kong, I often took the subway when traveling around the city. It was a very convenient way to move through the town. I also took a tram when I was not in a hurry and had a short trip to make. This tramway ran right past my office in Central. Okay.
When I lived in Hong Kong, I often took the subway when traveling around the city. It was a very convenient way to move through the town. I also took a tram when I was not in a hurry and had a short trip to make. The tramway ran right past my office in Central.
Right past my office in Central. Very good. Good job. When I lived in Hong Kong, I often took the subway when traveling around the city. Okay.
When I lived in Hong Kong, I often took the subway when traveling around the city. It was a very convenient way to move through the town. I also took a tram when I was not in a hurry and had a short trip to make. The tramway ran right past my office in Central.
Right past my office in Central. Very good. When I lived in Hong Kong, I often took the subway when traveling around the city. Okay.
When I lived in Hong Kong, I often took the subway when traveling around the city. It was a very convenient way to move through the town. I also took a tram when I was not in a hurry and had a short trip to make. The tramway ran right past my office in Central.
Right past my office in Central. When I lived in Hong Kong, I often took the subway when traveling around the city. Good. Okay.
When I lived in Hong Kong, I often took the subway when traveling around the city. It was a very convenient way to move through the town. I also took a tram when I was not in a hurry and had a short trip to make. The tramway ran right past my office in Central.
Very good. Good job. Right past my office in Central. Excellent.
Excellent, not good job, excellent.
Just excellent, not really like no.
Outstanding.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Okay, go ahead.
When I lived in Hong Kong, I often took the subway when traveling around the city. It was a very convenient way to move through the town. I also took a tram when I was not in a hurry and had a short trip to make.
The tramway ran right past my office in Central.
Subway ran right past my office in Central. When I lived in Hong Kong, I often took the subway when traveling around the city.